I'm Clark the Geek here, and welcome to my March 2022 Q&A. So, you know how this goes by now. I always love doing Q&As. It's always fun seeing, different questions and whatnot. So, let's answer all your questions. Let's get cracking. What's your favourite cheese? Plain cheddar cheese. Thoughts on the Dominators, the second Doctor story that is, and in my opinion, it's the weakest second Doctor Pattinson story. It's not god-awful, but it's just a story that is quite bland, quite overlong. It's 5 parts, but it's still quite overly long. Got a really dull cast, a weird kind of message about pacifism being like a bit weak, and I don't know. It's just not a particularly good story. But I mean, it's not offensively bad though. Are there any particular bands / songs / genres of music that you like? In terms of like eras of music that I tend to gravitate towards, it tends to be the 70s and 80s. That's kind of where I gravitate towards. I tend to like that kind of style, but I don't like a specific, like band or genre. I just kind of like what I like. I mean, I like, a few songs from, like a good few songs from various artists, like David Bowie. I like a bit of Duran Duran, the Beatles, Queen, etc. Elton John's another one, but I don't have like a specific kind of taste. I just like songs that I like. If you were the showrunner of Doctor Who, what would your pitch be? Who would you cast as the Doctor? Who would you want as the companion, and which monster villain would you bring back? Well, as for the villains and monsters, I did a video on that a bit ago. I think it was about a year ago now. But I did do a video on monster I'd like to see come back. As for the Doctor, I think I might have said this before, but Chris Barry from Red Dwarf as Rimmer, he'd be my kind of dream casting as the Doctor. For the companion, I'd have like a present day companion, and also a companion from like the future or the past, like a different time zones kind of. I think that'd be quite fun and unique. As for my pitch though, I don't really know how because I'm no good with like story arcs. I don't know how it would. I don't know how I don't really. I'm not sure really. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not tangent, but kind of if I was the showrunner, I would do this. Is how I'd announce the new Doctor. This is very bizarre, but I think it's I really like this idea. You have the current at the time Doctor. So say it's Jodie, for instance. You have Jodie on stage, and there's like an on-stage regeneration. So they do like Jodie will do the regeneration motion like that. There's like a big light effect with yellows and oranges, like the regeneration glowing effect. That like with the lights and all that kind of pyrotechnic stuff. There's like smoke and everything. Then the stage blacks out. And then, obviously transition, Jodie walks off stage in the blackout, the new Doctor will walk on stage, and the lights will go up, and the new Doctor's there. That's something I would do if I was showrunner. Okay, Mr. R Productions, have you seen the Batman yet? Yes, I have, the new Batman film. I have actually done a podcast review of it. It'll be out on Friday. I don't know I don't know when this is coming out, but it's scheduled for Friday, so there's that. Because a couple of people asked me about the Batman, but overall, I really loved it. It's not the best Batman film. I think The Dark Knight is a better film, but as an interpretation of the Batman character, the world's greatest detective, this might be the best in Batman film history. What's coming up soon on your channel? Now, you may have seen this because they've put the premiere up, but I'm going back to my old modern Doctor Who ranking videos and updating those lists, because I think they do need a bit of a refresh, because one, I think my video making skills have improved in the past 2-ish years, and secondly, my opinions have changed. I think series 1 has relatively stayed the same, but there are some differences. But overall, a lot of them have quite, there's some pretty different positions and whatnot, some stories have really shot up, others gone down a little bit. How have you been? On a personal level, and I want to be careful here, because I don't want to say anything that's going to really age really badly, like I said in my 2019 one. I can't wait to see what the 2020s bring. Yeah, look how that turned out. But overall, for me personally, 2022, so far, so good. I got braces. I had teeth taken out as well to have a man, and that was an experience. But yeah, I think at the end of last year, I was kind of getting a bit stressed, and YouTube partly, but also other things outside of that. But I think I'm kind of over that now, and I think I've kind of, because of that stress, it's kind of, I don't know, I feel a bit more sort of experienced because of that. And I'm kind of taking it more in my stride now. So, yeah, What is / are the best movies you've seen so far this year? New or old movies? I've been keeping a list and I've watched 38 movies this year so far, planning to rank them all in the year as you say. Well, I look forward to that, and you have seen more than me, Mr. L, because I have watched 33 movies this year so far. So what we got? We got Shark Tale. I don't know why I watched that. Highlander, I wasn't as fussed on that. French Dispatch is another one. Some Bond movies I rewatched. Diamonds Are Forever, For Your Eyes Only. School of Rock, that was a good one. Cars 3, I rewatched that. You know, some films I've never watched before, like Little Shop of Horrors, North by Northwest, Casablanca, Gladiator, Trainspotting. Some recent-ish films like Tick Tick Boom, Last Night in Soho, Knives Out. The best film currently so far that I've seen this year is Shaun of the Dead. Do you think George Lazenby's Bond should have been given another 4 films because he could have improved on the performance and he wouldn't be as wooden as he was in Majesty's Secret Service? I kind of agree. I think it would have been good to have given more films because, you know, he could have got more experienced as he went on. And, like you said, he wouldn't be as wooden and he'd just be, you know, better. I think they could have done like a kind of, you know, in like the 80s or something, like give him like a Never Say Never Again style, you know, second chance of you can play Bond again in like an unofficial capacity. But like, you know, I think that would have been quite cool. But you said another 4 films and I couldn't live in a world without Roger Moore Bond. So long as Roger Moore can still be Bond without any of his films taken out, then I'm down for it. Did you get any snow where you live this winter? Oh yeah, we did. No, we did. I remember in like late November we got a lot of snow. I remember that, like on the weekend we got a lot of snow. There was so much snow there, it was mad. Yes, because that Christmas Carol teaser that I made for my, you know, Christmas Carol special thing that I did that, you know, when it had been snowing, and it had kind of like gone away at that point. It was like quite more frosty than anything, but yeah, we did have snow. Have you seen Terminator and T2 Judgement Day? Yes. Well, I think I said T2 Judgement Day earlier, but yes, I saw the Terminator, the first one, not long after I got it. I think around New Year's time, and then T2 I watched a few weeks ago in my school break. Yeah, Terminator 1, great film, very of its time, very aggressively 80s, and it's still very good though. T2 though is just a masterpiece, and it is the perfect sequel. I hear so many stories that I'm confused. Can you tell me when the next Doctor episode will be aired, and when are we supposed to meet the new Doctor? Well, the next episode is going to be Legend of the Sea Devils, which is set to be around April, like Easter kind of time, and it will not be when we meet the new Doctor. I can't wait for the Sea Devils to come back. I remember the Eve of the Daleks trailer at the end with the Sea Devils. When they appeared, I literally screamed. I'm like a football fan, like, yes! And then again, my parents and my dog nearly had a heart attack because of it. It was class. Do you have any special plans for the summer? I don't know yet, but I do want to have fun in the summer. I want to enjoy myself. Hopefully go some nice places. That'd be quite nice. You look distinguished when dressed in formal wear. Well, thank you very much for that. But if you're playing Doctor Who, is that what you'd wear, or would you go for something more casual? Maybe both. Maybe have like 2 different looks, like a casual look. Do a Capaldi, have a casual look and a smart look. Do you play any musical instruments? Not properly, but like kind of as a hobby. Like I'm trying to learn the piano properly. Like I can play Let It Be by the Beatles, kind of. Here you go. As I say, I'm learning. Do you have a list of your 10 or 20 favourite movies of all time? Off the top of my head, this is really rough. Back to the Future, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Shaun of the Dead, 1917, Alien, The Shining, The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, I'll just count it as one. The Spy Who Loved Me, Jurassic Park and Groundhog Day. Favourite and least favourite episode of Inside Number 9. Least favourite, and the winner is the only one that I find really just mediocre. I just find it a bit boring. Favourite, I know most will say 12 Days of Christine, and that is pretty objectively the best episode. It's an absolute masterpiece of television. But Bernie Clifton's dressing room really resonated with me on such a personal level. Then I have to say that's my favourite. I cried. Favourite episodes of Red Dwarf. I've not watched Red Dwarf in ages. I need to get back on that. But Gunmen of the Apocalypse, the Western one, I love that one. Back to Reality is a classic. The VR one, that's really good. What movie would you call your least favourite? The Emoji Movie, that cynical piece of shit. Which Doctor Who story do you really enjoy, but not as much as others, and you can't explain why? That is a really good question. I was thinking about this as well. I wouldn't class this story as overrated as such. The Curse of Fenric, I do really like it, and I don't really have any massive qualms with it. I think it's a brilliantly dark and mature story, but I'd only give it like an 8 out of 10, and I don't know why I don't give it higher. Like, it's a really good story. I need to give it another watch, though, admittedly. Can you rank every Bond actor from worst to best? This question sounds really stupid, because I'm sure you can. Well, I can. I can do it, but I'm going to do a video on it, so yeah, sorry. Favourite James Bond director? I've got to go with Lewis Gilbert, who did You Only Live Twice, The Spy Who Loved Me, and Moonraker. The decadence and the scope of it all, it's so grand and epic, and I love it. And like the sets, all three of the films have brilliant sets, brilliant stunts, and great photography, great locations. Like You Only Live Twice in Japan looks gorgeous. Latest episode of Doctor Who you watched? Well, it was The Caretaker from Series 8. I rewatched that the other day. That's the last one I watched at this time. And you know what? It is quite fun. Danny Pink can go where the sun don't shine, because he's got about as much personality as a plank of wood. But it's a nice little run around. I like the Scovox Blitzer, and Peter Capaldi is hysterical. Favourite type of chocolate? Aero, probably. Especially the mint Aero, not the Aero, you know, the Aero bubbles. They're my favourite. What does Clack of the Geek truly mean? I don't know. It's I don't really know, to be honest. It's just words, you know, it's just letters and words that form Clack of the Geek. What am I on about? What am I? Thoughts on Robert Pattinson as the new Batman? I obviously say I'll do a video on this, but overall, I think I wasn't fully sure going into it whether I'd like him or not, because can the guy from Twilight and Harry Potter be a good Batman? But saying that, Michael Keaton has Beetlejuice before Batman, so there is a precedent for unusual casting. I think as Bruce Wayne, I do find him a bit odd. I don't want to say emo, but he's kind of a bit more secluded, and I don't know. I think if he does more, I'd like to see him grow more into the kind of the confident, suave Bruce Wayne. But as Batman, I can't fault him. I think he did a superb job as Batman. Favourite film you've seen this year? Favourite film overall, Shaun of the Dead. But if you're talking about favourite films that I've seen for the first time this year, T2, Terminator 2, Judgement Day. Best and worst thing Chris Chibnall has done as showrunner. Best thing, probably casting a female doctor, to be honest, because I think it is, I think it's gender isn't really a barrier when it comes to the Doctor, I think, and I think Chris Chibnall taking that step and like saying, yeah, you can have a female Doctor. Whether or not he's done it well, that's subjective, obviously, but I think the motive of doing it, I think it's really good, and I don't see why there can't be a female Doctor, and I think overall, yeah, I think it's a really good decision he made. As for the worst thing he's done, clunky dialogue, overstuffed plots, or plots that lack anything, underdeveloped companions, a Doctor who it took a fair bit to warm to. I was actually thinking about this question, and I was going to say the diminished perception of Doctor Who, but then the other day at school, this is really sweet, I saw one of the younger years in our school, a kid had drawn a picture of their TARDIS and like the stars around it, and the teacher had stuck it on their classroom door, and I thought that was really sweet, and I just thought, like, you gotta think, like, I know we on YouTube, we always bang on about how Chris Chibnall's ruined the show, and, it's Doctor Who's dead, my childhood's ruined, and it's like, no, kids don't watch the show anymore, it's like, it's dead. It's really not, it's really not, just because not all kids, are plugged into Twitter, ranting about Survivors of the Flux and why it sucked, and the Vanquishers was a terrible finale, and whatever, kids, not all kids do that. Some kids just watch it just because they enjoy it, and not just kids, but adults. Some adults just watch it just because they enjoy it. It's a comfort show. It can honestly help, sort of mentally, like mental health. Like, a lot of people do turn to stuff like Doctor Who as great escapism, and I think that's a really sweet thing. The fact that Doctor Who has lasted nearly 60 years, and new generations, younger than me, discovering the show for the first time, I think that's a really, really sweet thing, something really special. And just because, you know, people on social media and YouTube and whatnot are very vocal, it's not the majority. And on that note, I've answered every question. So that was quite a sappy note to end on. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for all the questions, everyone. Yeah, you're great. And I will see you soon. Like and subscribe. I forgot that. Like and subscribe, comment, click the bell, all that great stuff. Clack of the Geek signing out. Goodbye, everyone.